What's up, everyone? It's John of Video Games and the World, and for today's news, we're going to talk about the recently released Mario movie, the 1993 movie, and the voice actor for Donkey Kong, the one and only teenager for life, Seth Rogen. Seth Rogen is well known for various movies that are so hilarious, such as Knocked Up, Zack and Miri, Superbad, The 40-Year-Old Virgin, Pineapple Express, The Interview, This Is the End, Sausage Party, and for that infamous show. You know, that infamous show that was a total failure. A picture is worth 1,000 words, so this is what I'm talking about. Yeah, that show. And it's off of HBO Max, because that show totally sucked. It was horrendous. But enough of thinking of that piece of crap show, we gotta move on. So, as you know, the Super Mario Bros. Movie was just released, and it turns out that the critics didn't like it that much. John Leguizamo, who played as Luigi in the live-action movie in 1993, was so bitter about it because there was not a Latino actor in it. Which I think boycotting a movie for such a thing is just petty and childish. But I will talk about it either later today or tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow I'll do it. But so many people loved this new movie. I loved it as well, as it was faithful to the source material. And speaking of which, what I'm bringing here today is that Seth Rogen said that he hated the 1993 live-action movie, realizing that movies could be bad. And to be honest, he's actually right. There are movies that can be bad due to horrendous writing, lack of quality, lack of character development, horrendous acting, unoriginality, and so on. And when I speak of unoriginality, I talk about reboots that don't live up to the spirit of the classics, in which they sucked. So, this is what Seth had to say. When he was 11 years old, back in 1993, he went to see the Super Mario Bros. Movie, and once the movie was over, his illusions of the film were completely shattered. And that's fascinating because a lot of people who went to see the movie 30 years ago because they loved the game so much were completely disappointed. I remember watching that movie and realized that it was worlds away from the source material. According to an interview with Variety magazine, the Donkey Kong voice actor said the following. When I was 11, I saw the original Mario Bros. Movie and I was so excited. But it's one of the worst films ever made. I was so disappointed. I think it made me realize that movies could be bad. That never occurred to me until that moment. It really bummed me out, he continues. It's nice to vindicate that moment. It's nice to know that 11-year-olds out there, that they won't be disappointed in the same way that I was. To be honest, I believe him. Because as a kid, in a way, I liked it, but after seeing it again years later, I realized that it wasn't like the game at all. The 1993 live-action movie still has a fan base out there, and see it as a cult classic. And the funny thing is, I see that movie as a guilty pleasure to laugh at it. Since, of course, it's one of those so bad they're good movies. The movie starred the late Bob Hoskins as Mario, John Leguizamo as Luigi, and the late Dennis Hopper as Koopa. That live-action movie is about two struggling plumbers from Brooklyn who enter the Mushroom Kingdom using a fragment of a meteorite piece that crash-landed on Earth millions of years ago and killed the dinosaurs. The fragment of that meteorite created a parallel dimension where dinosaurs continue to thrive and evolve into vicious, intelligent, and aggressive beings, just like us. They enter that world to save Princess Daisy from Koopa. The vision of Rocky Morton and Annabelle Janko was worlds away from the source material. The Mushroom Kingdom was turned into a neon-lit cyberpunk city called Dino Hatton, where humans evolve from dinosaurs and harbor a hatred for the humans of Earth Prime, calling them mammals. We see in that movie that the Goombas are 8-foot-tall lizard warriors with shrunken heads, and Toad is one of them. The city is contaminated by fungus, which Mario and Luigi would use. Morton and Janko's vision was more of a darker take on Mario, and too bad for them, it sucked. Bob Hoskins and Dennis Hopper both hated the movie, stating that it was the worst thing they ever did. Bob Hoskins said that the movie and whole experience was a nightmare and called the directors idiots for that. The movie was indeed worlds away from the source material, and that's why it failed. Now that I think about it, although the live-action movie is a guilty pleasure, this new movie is so much better. I loved it. A lot. Now, before the 1993 movie was released, there was a movie script that was more in touch with Mario's roots. In this script, Mario and Luigi are two struggling plumbers from Brooklyn as well. They enter a world known as the Mushroom Kingdom and go on a journey with their sidekick Toad to save a princess named Hildy from Bowser. Bowser seeks to marry the princess and obtain the magical crown of invincibility so he can rule the kingdom. In that script, the Mushroom Kingdom is like a crossing between Alice in Wonderland and The Wizard of Oz. Danny DeVito was going to play Mario and direct the movie, which could have been the best thing ever. For the role of Bowser, they plan to cast either Michael Keaton or Arnold Schwarzenegger for the role. Michael Keaton, okay, but Arnold? No, no, no. Hell no! No offense, I like Arnold, but no. Unfortunately, the script was scrapped and they didn't go forward with producing it. There were many scripts, but they settled for Morton and Jankel's vision. Too bad, because that script could have been something really good. And what we got was that movie directed by Morton and Jankel. So remember everyone, the Super Mario Bros. Movie is in theaters right now. You're gonna love it. And that's it for now everyone. Don't forget to comment, share, like, and subscribe. I'm John of Video Games and the World, and in the words of Mario, see you next time!